When you're a right-leaning person, you tend to judge everything based on action and results, okay? We don't really care about the ideology so much as does it have a good outcome? This, of course, is the exact opposite for someone on the left, when all they care about is the message. All they care about is their ideology. And whatever happens from that, nah, who cares, right? You gotta crack a few eggs to make an omelet. So what we're gonna see today, of course, is the left often doing what the left does, and that means freaking out over absolutely nothing. Let's go ahead and check this out.
This will be my last, Mr. Chairman. I have an additional unanimous consent request.
Gentleman is recognized.
George Soros prosecutors wage war on law and order at heritage.org.
Without objection.
Philadelphia's Soros-funded district attorney deceived court to get murderer off death row from the Washington Examiner.
Without objection.
George Soros' bad bet on progressive DAs from the Philadelphia Citizen.
Without objection. While we're keeping Mr. Klein waiting, you've all been here for a couple hours. If you need a break, just let us know. We can certainly give you a chance for a break.
Mr. Chairman.
Yeah.
I just want to say that with all the anti-Semitism we're seeing the anti-Semitism of using George Soros again. It's disgusting.
Point of privilege, Mr. Ranking Member, not every criticism of George Soros is anti-Semitic. The criticisms deal with public policy and the matters of rising crime with DAs. I don't know anything about Mr. Soros's faith. I yield back.
Gentleman yields back.
That, of course, was Matt Gaetz talking about the rise in crime in America. And a lot of this, of course, is linked to George Soros-funded DAs who are choosing not to prosecute, not to go after criminals, and basically just letting people out without bail so they can go ahead and commit more crimes. And, of course, we all know the results of that. So, yes, George Soros is an actual threat to this country. But Jerry Nadler, oh, my goodness, this is anti-Semitic. I can't believe you would dare to talk about George Soros in this form. I can't believe it. It's like, okay, you did the same thing back with Obama. We don't like his policies, we attack his policies, and what do you say? You just don't like black people. It's ridiculous. All of these attacks about racism on the right, it doesn't mean anything anymore. Nobody cares, because when you call everything the horrible R word, then guess what? Nothing is. And now we're all sitting back going, you are ridiculous. So Jerry Nadler needs to shut his gob and just realize that when you have a legitimate concern, it's okay to bring it up, no matter what race, creed, or color the person is you're criticizing. So go change your depends and calm down. Well, let's go ahead and hear Robert De Niro talking about President Trump.
He's sick. He is really, genuinely a sick person that somehow has been allowed into our system. And I'm tired of calling him names. He just can't be anywhere near the office of the presidency.
You've played a lot of bad guys. Would you ever play Donald Trump?
Never. There's nothing about him. There's not one redeeming thing in him that I can see ever. It's funny, I was just thinking that he actually became president. He could have done good things. Instead, he had to do it all wrong. He's so, as we all know, so narcissistic and self-centered.
What do you say to those who say, I don't like the guy, but I'm going to vote for him? What's your message to them?
I don't understand it. I don't think they understand how dangerous it will be if he ever, God forbid, becomes president. I don't think they really understand. And historically, from what I see, even in Nazi Germany, they had it with Hitler. They don't take him serious. He looks like a clown, acts like a clown. Mussolini, same thing. These guys, I don't know why, they look like clowns. They somehow, people, that element of society identifies in some ways with them, but it would be chaos beyond our imagination. There's no mystery about him. He's right out front, and what he says is what it'll be if he becomes president.
Now, believe it or not, that interview was from 1 day ago, okay? And Robert De Niro says that if Donald Trump was ever elected president, that would be the worst thing to ever happen to this country. Does he not remember that Donald Trump was, in fact, president already, so he already has a proven track record. We know exactly who he is and what he stands for. And, I mean, it's truly amazing to see him sit here and still have that much TDS, that much Trump derangement syndrome, that he's going to say, oh, he's clearly just like Hitler and Mussolini. He's a clown and he's the worst thing. I don't understand people are going to vote for him. Yeah, you do, because you see that Biden is that bad. And if you don't understand that, you are clearly living in a bubble. You don't do your own shopping. You don't walk the streets without security. None of these things apply to you. You are not an everyday average American. Now, what's also hilarious about this is that Elon Musk, of course, chimes in on this whole thing. He says, well, Trump was actually already president for 4 years, and his policies bore no resemblance to those of Hitler, so this man makes no sense. In fact, with the Abraham Accords, he made some progress towards peace in the Middle East, which was definitely not high on Hitler's agenda. And yeah, let's see what's happening in the Middle East area right now under Biden. Yeah, that seems a heck of a lot worse than anything that was happening under Donald Trump. But of course, the whole point of this video is showing how the left doesn't judge things based on actions and results. They simply judge based on their ideology. And one of the most scary things is, of course, economic policy. So here we're going to have Joe Biden's chief economist come out and talk about the government printing money.
Like you said, they print the dollar. So why does the government even borrow?
Well, again, some of this stuff gets, some of the language that some of the language and concepts are just confusing. I mean, the government definitely prints money, and it definitely lends that money, which is why the government definitely prints money, and then it lends that money by selling bonds. Is that what they do? They sell bonds. Yeah, they sell bonds, right? Because they sell bonds and people buy the bonds and lend them the money. Yeah. So a lot of times, at least to my ear with MMT, the language and the concepts can be kind of unnecessarily confusing, but there is no question that the government prints money and then it uses that money to, yeah, I guess I can't really talk. I don't get it. I don't know what they're talking about. Like, because it's like the government clearly prints money. It does it all the time, and it clearly borrows. Otherwise, we wouldn't be having this debt and deficit conversation. So I don't think there's anything confusing there.
That is Jared Bernstein, Joe Biden's chief economic advisor, stumbling over the fact that, yes, the government does in fact print money and then lends out that money. Okay. But of course, we never want to judge anything based on results. And even though Jared Bernstein apparently has the Biden disease, he's just locked up in dementia, he can't really make the argument for why the government, of course, is leading to deficits, is leading to inflation. And we all basically know how this lines up, right? When the government prints more money, it dilutes the value of the dollar, thus leading to inflation, and everybody's life is basically ruined. But we don't want to talk about that. Instead, we want to say, oh, the government can print as much money as it wants and then lend out that money and everything's fine. In which case we all say, well, why have taxes? Why have anyone pay any taxes whatsoever? Why not just print an unlimited amount of money, give everybody $2 billion, and then we're all wealthy, right? Because that's how economy works, according to the left. You can print and print and print and never have any consequences. But of course, when you present the argument like that, everyone sees how laughable that mindset is. So rather than judge things based on consequences and the results of your actions, you have to sit here and pontificate about, oh, what might be if we actually did things the perfect utopian leftist way, which of course never works out. So as usual, thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, and stay safe out there, people, because they're coming after you.